I don't even really know how to feel right now, to tell you the truth. Because I've used these frost blankets for the past 3 years. I've had no issues. What was the difference? I don't know. Those under the low tunnel had plenty of condensation. So maybe we're on to something. Sometimes we have to step back to move forward. Maybe we're on to something. So we put our frost blankets on, and then we put the plastic on top. We had quite a bit of condensation up under that. The bushes came out better than they were before we even put them up under the low tunnel. Step back to move forward. Well, it looks like we're trying to get ready for this little winter blast that we're about to have coming here in Georgia Zone 8A. I just dug up a few of my fig trees because they've already started to blossom. And as you can see here, this brown turkey behind me, she's already done broke bud. I even got some berries on this thing. Tell you boy, this fake spring is something else. This is the 3rd year on this brown turkey fig here. Now what I'm gonna do different on this one this year, I'm gonna do some air layers as opposed to doing the traditional pruning. There's some pretty nice sized branches on here, and we could take those air layers and we'll have mature plants that are producing in this same year. So we'll go back here. This here is my black mission. You see she's already come up. That pot's planted in the ground. That's an Olympian there. She's planted in the ground. And you can see where I had 2 other pots planted on the side of them where they've gone into the ground. And you can see all the roots where I tore it out. I'm just going to go ahead and sit her in another pot and just let those roots kind of settle in for a while, because we're going to find a permanent home for her a little later on after this frost goes through. So that's what you want to do anytime you up pot one of these. You want to take it and just sit it into another pot until you can get to the planting part. Here's one of the pots that I'm going to put this in. Come down, and we're going to tuck these roots in. And we just want to get this in some good coverage before this frost comes in. And there it is. We got a little double pot right there. But she'll be okay for a couple of days. The green gage and the Italian, they're going to be all right through this frost. But I'm not sure about the yellow shiro. And I'm pretty sure that our dwarf Santa Rosa is going to have some issues. We've already written off the methylae for the year. Our all-in-one almond is already sprouted. And this is also available on growingoutthebox.com. Again, this was about 3 feet tall when we got her. And if you look at her now, I would say she's probably about 7 feet tall, maybe 7.5 feet tall. We have quite a few things going on, but this is one of the things I really wanted to show you. Now, this is what I call my wake-up call, and this is my Ponsyrus trifoliate, and that's the bitter orange or bitter lemon as some people call it. This is one of the last plants to wake up. When this thing comes out of dormancy, everything in the garden is waking up. Look at all the leaf buds coming out on her. And she's probably about 10 feet tall now, and she's starting to get her lateral growth, which is telling me that it's time for her to start fruiting. And this is her 5th year going into her 6th year, and we got some interesting things that we're going to be doing with this Ponsyrus trifoliate through the season. You see over here we have that garlic. I'm not even sure if I'm going to cover the garlic up. I think the garlic is going to be okay. We're going to get down to, like I say, about a 26, 27. And I haven't covered this garlic up all year, and we've been down to 14 degrees and she's been able to bounce back. So I think I'm going to leave that garlic just like it is. I guess the rule of thumbs is no matter how prepared you think you are, you're never prepared enough, because there's always going to be something that gets in the way that causes the plan to not go according to the plan. But the best we can do is what we can do with the situations that we are handed. I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything with our fava beans here. Our fava beans are normally good down to 15 degrees. That's that Himbit FPJ that I've been spraying on them. Even got some flowers coming on. Now what I normally do is go ahead and clip those down, let it spread some more. And then you can see we have our seedlings coming up there. Those are the ones that we reseeded when we had the last frost. But we may have to do this again. I mean, it's part of just this whole, trying to garden and be a better grower. You do the best you can with your situations, Make sure that you don't do the same mistakes twice. So really what I wanted to do was just show you guys what the garden was looking like before the frost, and then we're going to come back after the frost and just basically show you, what the results were. We got our mustards. Look at that dark, rich color on it. And that's that Himbit FPJ that we've been spraying on these. You make gardening simpler when you just allow it to recycle itself. At the end of the season last year, I allowed a lot of the peppers to just drop. And this is what happens. They come up on their own the following year. And these are Mike's Chaotic Garden and Fish Peppers right here. I can break that open, do like this. See all those seeds dropping out? That's all you gotta do. I don't have to worry about that. Now look at these blueberries. This here is our pink lemonade right here. She is in full bloom, but we got an answer for that. We're gonna bring out our 2.2 frost blankets. Now we're gonna get down to 27 degrees tomorrow morning, and then I think it's gonna be 28 the morning after that, and then 31, and then 35, 37. So we're gonna have a whole week of below average temperatures after being in a spring-like season for the past 2 weeks. All of my blueberries are in full bloom, every last one of them. Now we're gonna look at this thing for what it is. We are absolutely gonna lose some of our berries out here, but that's part of the whole process of growing and just learning how to mitigate as best as we can. Right here, we've already started prepping for our blueberries in our pots. You can see this cinder block mesh that we have here. We get these from Home Depot or Lowe's. I put me a little stake on the end to secure it. And all you need is for the ends to be locked in, and the rest of it's gonna hold. You see how that looks? You just create your little low tunnel. And we've done this before, so this is nothing new to us. Just gonna tie that there, and then we're gonna bring her forward. And yes, it's a little stress on them, but it's only gonna be for a couple of days. And you see how that works? You just pull those in. Anything that's above our little cage right here, we're always gonna have problems. But what are the solutions? Because we can sit around and we could talk about what's wrong and what's not gonna work all day long. But I like to look for solutions. And this seems to be one that works really well in a pinch. Give you a little better look at what we did. And again, we just tying them out because we don't want anything going above this. We have 7 of our 8 blueberry bushes already wrapped up, snugged in their frost blankets, perfectly seated. We got one left over, and that's the one I wanted to show you guys just how simple this is to do. And this is our sweetheart. And I want you to see what's happening. The bees are already hovering over here because we done took the food source away from them. So they're doing their thing, but look at all the blooms on here. This is our sweetheart. If we have a decent enough season, she'll bloom again towards the fall. And we're gonna go ahead and show you how we put that frost blanket on, just how simple it is. Takes about 5 minutes. I like to take the blankets, spread them open, let the wind grab them a little bit, and then just start to roll them up like a beanie. Whatever direction the wind is blowing, put your back to it and use the wind to your advantage. So again, you see me just rolling it up to the outside. Now, if you got a different way of doing this, I'd love to hear it, because I'm always about opening for different ideas. But this, for me, has been the easiest to do the past few years that I've had to do this. Now you see how this tucked up now? Got the little rabbit ears at the top. So now we're just gonna lasso it on the top. Yeah, they're not liking the whole idea of covering this thing up. And I wouldn't be surprised if I get stung. Because again, this is the last bush out here. So all of them are trying to get to the bush. And you don't have to be all gentle with it, because the corollas are going to drop anyway But what we want to do is we want to use the bush to our advantage. And as we push it in, we just flop the blanket over it. When the blanket flops over the bush, it pushes the blanket out. Push it in and it flops the blanket out. So now we got our ears up top. Basically like a ring around the rosy. We're gonna do this all the way around again. We lift it up, push it straight in. You don't want to push it down, side or anything. You push it straight in so it goes in and it flops it back out. And we're gonna probably have to walk around this thing a couple of times before we get it all wrapped in. But like I say, about 5 minutes per bush, if that. And we're not breaking any branches doing it like this. But you gotta grab it, push it up. Grab it and push it up and in. And then you see how it just pushes back out. And then we drop down here, do the same thing. Grab it, push it up and in. Go here, take the higher one, grab it, pushing up and in, up and in. Like I say, you're gonna get your corolla drops, and that's what your flowers are called as they start to drop. And then as you see that, you'll see the blueberries are actually already starting to form on here. And that tells you that that's already been pollinated. As that corolla falls off, that's what those white flowers are called. The calyx is that little bell shape that's on the tip of the blueberry. The only thing you want to do is just push it in and up. See how this is sticking out right there? Push it in and up. And then bring that down and it'll flop the blanket back out. I had all of this in mind when I first put this together on how I would protect the blueberries in case of a throwback frost or something like that. And also be able to use this same perimeter that's round in order to do it for when we get berries on the bush, and we can protect it from the birds. Once you put a little moisture in there, it's going to hold, and that moisture is going to keep that temperature a few degrees above the ambient outside. So we're trapping the heat that's already in the soil by wrapping it around the bed itself, as opposed to wrapping it around the canes, because you're going to have that soil exposed. And then I have these little metal pieces. I just kind of fold those over like that. So they'll form like a U-clamp in the ground. Put that in our little slip knot and then just force it into the ground. So there we go. This is what our frost blankets look like on our blueberry bushes. Looks pretty cool, I think. But again, this is going to be able to keep those bushes anywhere from 4 to 7 degrees difference between what the ambient temperatures are. We're going to be getting down to that 26, 27 tonight. So that's going to put us right at the freezing mark. And those blueberries can handle that. The bush, again, can handle down to -0. But the berries, 30 degrees, open blooms, you're going to start to lose them. 25 degrees, you're probably going to lose about half, if not pretty much close to most of your blueberries. When you get down to 20, it's a done deal. There's nothing you can do after that. This is our third warm-up in Georgia Zone 8A. We've been 75, 73 all week long for probably a week and a half now. So hopefully this is our last fake spring. Growing out the box.